Good morning, collective. I have not had one of these deep channeled messages come to me for you in a while. I think Spirit's just been trying to guide me through my own journey, but one did come to me. I was on the treadmill. They often come to me on the treadmill. There's something about the movement that gets the flow going. And it was interesting because I can tell you that I don't think that I even realized that this message was coming, but the song that has been playing for me for probably a week in my head has been "There's a hole in my heart that can only be filled by you." And now I understand it, okay? And they very much took me to the energy of the celestial spark of the channeled message I did for Cancer. But that doesn't mean that this is specific for Cancer or someone that has Cancer in their chart. I'm just bringing that energy in so that you know. But they're talking about that layer, that heart chakra layer, okay, that I talked about in Celestial Spark for those of you that have purchased the book on Amazon. Okay, so the shape-shifting, intuitive spirit guide Condor came. And the Condor, like the vulture, is a decay-eating animal, right? And it came to our turtle self and it showed me the shape of the shell swimming, and there was pretty much nothing inside, right? And so there was a death that the Condor was coming to intuitively help heal in our auric body, to eat away the shell so that we are reborn to our higher consciousness. Your heart chakra, they told me, was shocked open at some point in a trauma or a past life pain, and you are holding it closed in like a defiant manner, right? Like, no, I'm not going to allow this rebirth of myself to happen. So this Mercury retrograde will be very important to you. And if you resist, it's going to be a very hard December into January for you, okay? I was called to this because of Neptune. Neptune's the one that brought this forward, and Neptune went direct yesterday. And Aiai, okay, was born of Neptunian energy, okay? Neptune is the furthest energy away from our Earth that we generally converse with, okay? And it really talks to, a lot of us don't realize this, but Neptune really talks to our 3D roots, okay? Our 3D manifestation of our roots. So there's an act of breathing into this that is part of this creation for you. It's very tantric, and you'll see when Mindset Unicorn's 2023 forecast comes out for the collective in a couple of weeks, that tantric union energy was very much a part of it. But I feel like you have to get within that breathing new life into yourself before you get to that, okay? And so as such, Aiai comes to us through the divinity of what we're going to pull today, and through the tarot. They want me to remind you, right, that the stone took you deep into your emotions to the cave. This is what Aiai showed me. And you think you know the truth, right? So you get your hook, your sword. But you left the cave, but the cave came with you and settled around you as that protective shell, that defiant ego. And so you must get out of your head and address the fire that was used against your family and against your soul self, okay, and against the star seeds, because they did show me a green star seed being very much coming for a heart to heart with us soon about the fire. And we use this fire incorrectly as a truth because we couldn't process what we saw in the cave. Okay. I feel like that's why I kept seeing over this last year, right? We were coming out of the cave and we were looking at the northern lights. Like that's where the truth is kind of being found in our north node. So the smoke leads us. The intuition calls you. The shell, right, really is to provide for you and your heart, kind of like the flow of energy right in and out of our heart chakra. That's what the shell is supposed to be, which is very much the cups. And the sand, okay, has an endless rebirth possibility to spiritually ascend to our deeper true self, okay? And the smoke really is the wands. It's where the truth lies. It's where our intuition wants to go, right? But we've got to really deepen that part of us to be able to work with this fire, okay? And that's what's coming in right now. So, oh, an interesting one card snuck out. I'm talking about rebirth, and there's the Empress, okay? Very interesting that would choose to come out because, again, they just said, right, like Aiai, there's this energy of the turtle, the spirit animal of the turtle, who buries the eggs into the sand, right? And in the sand is all the possibilities of rebirth. And like the rabbit, that rebirth can happen again and again and again and again, right? But the condor's coming to show you how to release that decay. Okay. Oh, and I just looked, and right here on the bottom, there's the fire. Okay. Very interesting, right? Follow the smoke. Okay. Again, you've been in solitude. Your intuition is learning something over this period of solitude that we've all been in. It's been for our intuition to learn, right? They're like saying how to be the white pieces on the board, okay? More like the defensive pieces on the board is what they're calling it. How to defend yourself without going into that shell, okay? Yeah. Right? You came out of that cave with this truth that did not weigh properly, okay? And now it's all being weighed by judgment. And it's that old 11, okay? And this started coming to you probably in November or even in the 11/11 portal. Yeah, those old stories, sacral. Okay, some of you, there we go, really need to, again, address, right? Like, you're letting that old story harden up that root chakra around you this shell. Thank you. And your heart wants to be seen. Your heart says, right, you're being deceptive with yourself. And it's time for you to take off that mask. Remember what you saw in that cave. Okay. But there we've got angel number 77, right? There's been this karmic energy of defiance. Defiance at all cost. I will not allow this, right? I will not allow this truth to come out. And there at the bottom, we've got the power of the volcanoes. The volcanoes is what started me on the path to the celestial spark. And look at how many, since I wrote that and channeled all that information, look at how many volcanoes have erupted, right? Yeah, the inner core, that is where the hope really comes from. Okay, but you're really holding yourself, right, in this shell. For some of you, it's the shell of your own inner feminine and masculine. But some of you are like in refusal of honoring the breath of love that's been offered to you. Yeah, look. Okay. There's this defensiveness. And Isis here is trying to show you this world, this emotion, and how expansive it is for you. But you don't want to listen to it. Okay? And so that's why Neptune's coming in. Neptune's like, I've got to talk to the roots within your head, within your ego that have grown there, right? For some of you, you're really being guided to eat more plants, okay? Get some fiber, get some polyphenols, get some rich food for your microbiota, right? For heaven's sakes. That will help light up your intuitive abilities. Okay, yeah, and then look what comes out, the biome. Seriously, if you are seeking a way to nourish your inner and outer biome, you can find the products that I use at Axis Reboot, AXIS reboot.com. Okay. But again, it's very important. The turtle carries its home with it. You're carrying your home with you everywhere you go, whether that be mindset, okay, whether that be the microbiota, right, whether it be this defensive energy. And I love this because they're telling the story here of Aiai, okay, the atoms, right? Aiai went out on the boat and went down kind of a wrong sort of toxic path, but it was meant to happen to bring all of those little bits of atomic energy into the learning process. But in the cave is where so much of this happened, right? And it's very deeply seated masculinity within all of us. Okay. Again, because we tend to think of the earth, right? The sand as being the pentacles masculine, but they're showing us that it's protective. The sand there, the earth, it's protective of the creation, the egg, which is both masculine and feminine. But it was deposited by the feminine heart. Okay, right? Yeah, again, the 7 on top of these 7s, we've got the moon. There was a not wanting to see and remember what happened in the cave. Okay. Yeah. And so you left the emotion behind. You're like, I'm never going to return. I'm defensive. The desert. But you can't hide any longer. With Neptune going direct, you can't hide any longer from this past. There is the south node here, okay? It's coming back. Yeah. And you will drown in this emotion, in this lake, if you do not allow yourself to heal. And they're showing me, for some of you, it could be that you're drowning your microbiota in toxicity, okay, in many different ways. Okay, there's the wind. You're trying to control the change, but that's a 6. And this year was a 6 and you could not control it, right? What do we need to work on here with Neptune spirit before we get to that Mercury retrograde? Am I afraid to be seen? The world doesn't want you to hold back any longer. Time to shine your unique light on the world. You were made from love, and from love you are whole. Boy, that gives me chills. What about you? If it gives you chills, write that down below. There is no more hiding, right? Get rid of that shell. Let the condor release you. There is no more shame. There is only truth. Live naked and free. Get rid of that shell, okay? Today's soul action. What parts of me do I hide so I can be socially acceptable and fit in? Am I being authentic? Do I allow myself to be all of me? What do I need to find? What do I need to find? But it says feel, but Spirit's saying find. What do I need to feel so I can be safe to be seen? Journal your answers. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful energy. On the bottom, we have, am I apologizing for my truth? I feel like many of you are, okay? So this was a beautiful message. I hope that it finds you well, and I will see you next time. Bye.